All right, so in the last portfolio project, we built out the nav bar for the site. So we replaced our list of links with a nice nav bar, that inverse nav bar that had that black background with the gray text. Now we're going to take it one step further. And for the galleries link in the nav bar, we're going to build a drop down menu. Remember, Kit has photos in several different galleries. She has party photos, landscapes, castles, cats. And we want to drop down that galleries link and allow the user to select which gallery they'd like to go to. But we're also going to give them the option to just go to the gallery page in general. So here's a preview of what the drop down menu is going to look like. And then on the gallery page itself, we're going to have a different style or a different drop down menu because this one had that vertical nav bar on the side. So it was just a little different in the layout, but the code's pretty much going to be the same. I'm going to demonstrate how to do this, and then I'll have you do it for the rest of the project. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Remember, first step is copy everything over. So take a moment, pause the video, copy all your files over, and then we'll jump into the exercise together. All right, so once we have everything copied over, I always love to run it and then open it up in a new tab, just check things out and make sure everything looks all right. So we're basically gonna work on adding in the drop-down menu. So on this page, for example, the pricing page, we wanna be able to pull down this gallery tab and be able to go to either all of the galleries, which is the gallery page, or a specific gallery. So the gallery page is this, should look familiar. We also built this nav bar last time. This was the vertical nav bar I was referring to. So in this one, we'll do the drop down from here, but pretty much the code's going to be the same. We're going to give the option to either come right here to the gallery page or go to one of these individual galleries by clicking on the individual link in the drop down. So let's go ahead and start with building it out on the pricing page. Doesn't matter which page you begin with. Again, the code's pretty much going to be the same. You're just going to be changing the link that's going to be active, but I'll show that as well. So over on pricing HTML, I'm going to find my gallery link, and I'm going to space things out just so it's a little bit easier to read, and I'm going to collapse the sidebar here. By the way, if you're watching this now and it's current, the CodeHS interface, they've updated it a little bit, but you should still be able to do some of the same functions, or basically the same functions, just collapsing and expanding. And they've added in a few different icons up here, but the files are going to be this little paper icon with the two brackets. Okay, so if you're looking for things in this new interface, follow along here and you should be okay. But I'm going to collapse this, just make it a little easier to read. And then again, over here, I'm going to space things out a little, just so again, we're able to see all the different parts of the drop down. So for the list item, remember this is the basically the bullet that's holding your page link. You're going to turn this into a drop down. So I'm going to put it in the drop down class, and that's how the web browser knows that this is going to be a drop down menu. Then in the link tag, the anchor tag, I'm going to add in a class as well. And this one is going to be drop down toggle, because we're going to be able to toggle it back and forth. Toggle means going from one state to another. So it's either going to be drop down or it's not going to be drop down. It's going to be collapsed. So this class is going to allow us to have that functionality. We're also going to add the data toggle attribute. So we're going to specify what we're toggling, and that's going to be the drop down menu. Okay, so that should be the same. And that should be defined for the anchor tag. And now next to the text for galleries, we want to add in that little down arrow, and that is going to be accomplished with a span tag class equal to caret. Okay, so this is going to make that little arrow icon, and that signifies to the web browser, the person that's browsing, that this is a menu you can drop down, and that arrow is going to help us find it easier. All right, so this all goes within the anchor tag itself. So notice my closing anchor tag is here. And now within the list item, I'm going to start building this drop-down menu that you see here. Okay, so this is going to be accomplished with, you probably already guessed, an unordered list. Class is also going to be drop-down, but this is going to be drop-down menu. And we can just build out the rest of the pages here like we would any list. Okay, so all of them are going to be list items, and they're also going to be links. For the first one, it's going to link to the gallery page, so I'm going to put that in there. and the text is going to say all galleries. And because it has this little line that's basically separating it from the rest of the drop-down menu, it's a divider, we're going to give the list item a special class called divider. Okay, that's going to basically divide that specific link out from the rest of the links, kind of giving it a more special space at the top. All right, so this structure is pretty much going to be the same for the remainder of the list, except without the divider class, and of course the links are going to be a little different. Okay, with the exception of the castle gallery, all of the links are going to be just a hashtag for now, a placeholder. And this we can copy for the rest of the list because it's pretty much the same, with the exception again of castle galleries, which actually has a page we built out. Remember, the other ones we didn't build out a page for, so there's nowhere to link to. And we also got to change the text. So this one's going to say landscapes, and this one will say castles. And then, of course, cats. All right, so we got everything. And then, of course, this also needs to change the file name that we want to link it to, which is Castle Gallery. So make sure you're linking it to the right file. And if your file is called something different for any reason, make sure you use the file name you have. All right, I think this should do it. So again, the idea here is that the list item that you already had inside of your original nav bar is now a drop-down menu. And then within that drop-down menu, you have a caret that basically indicates that there's a menu to see, and that menu is also a list. Okay, this logic is pretty much going to be the same throughout the rest of the web page. So let's test this out and then we'll talk about what's next. Right, so just refresh this if you have the pricing page open, otherwise open it up. All right, beautiful. So far I can see the caret. I see that's next to gallery. Now let's test it out and see if our drop down's there. And this looks good. Okay, only problem is I'm not seeing the all galleries text. So let's go back and double check what we could be missing there. All right, so we got our, okay, so let's see if maybe I need to take out that divider class, and maybe I'll put in a list item that has that inside of it. And I'm just testing this out. I'm not sure if it'll work, but I do know we need the divider class. I'm going to refresh it and hopefully that fixes it. All right, beautiful. Okay, so this looks a lot better. I can see the list to all galleries, so I'm going to test that out. Again, I will come back and test the rest of the links as well. All galleries should work and bring me to the gallery page. Excellent. I'll go back to pricing and I'll test also the castle gallery, make sure that's taking me to the right place. The other ones are placeholders, so they're not taking me anywhere, and no need to test them. All right. All right, looks like I have an error. Maybe I'm linking back to the incorrect page. Let's make sure castle gallery HTML. Let's make sure my page is right. Okay, that looks okay to me. I'm going to go ahead and assume it could be some sort of glitch that's going on in CodeHS, so I'll ignore that for now. I'll go back to the gallery page, and then essentially what you're doing is you're taking the same exact code that we just did, and now you're going to head over to gallery HTML, and you're going to apply that to this list item. And it's going to be the same drop down leading to either the gallery page or the separate galleries in the Jumbotrons. All right, I hope that helped. This was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. If you want to take a pause and look over the code before you go ahead and apply it, please take a moment to do so. And then also, just if you're wondering where I got that information on the dropdown, this was linked in the instructions at the bottom, and it's part of the documentation on W3 Schools. Okay, so didn't have that memorized. I had to look up the documentation as well. So this is how I found the divider class. Again, documentation is a really great tool. Use it as needed because there's way too much stuff here to stuff in your brain and remember. All right, so very nice job on the drop-down menu. This looks like a really, really professional nav bar. It's looking excellent, even with the drop-down caret. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. Very nice work. We have one more lesson left, and we're officially done with this portfolio. Keep up the great work.